Alright, you guys, so we have that new Fenty products we have all been waiting for. Like, let me first introduce myself because my name is Chi Chi, in case you guys don't know, and I know y'all be checking for the Fenty videos, so I want to go ahead and introduce myself. But they actually launched today, and I just went in the store. It took me like 5 minutes in total. I picked up the concealer, the powder, and I literally left because I knew what I was looking for. So I do have the powder right here. I have it in the shade Honey because nobody tried it on their under eyes, and I really was like intrigued to see what it would look like, so I got the shade Honey. And then for the concealer, I got the shade 410. And I don't want to make this intro too long. I just want to go ahead and jump right into this video. If you guys want to stick around and see how I feel about these products, then go ahead and keep on watching. Alright, so today's a whole Fenty face. I do have the Flyliner on my eyes, and this eyeliner, y'all, is so bomb. Like, it's so black and deep and dark. I love it. I literally use it all the time. But we're first gonna start with my complexion, and I use the Farsali Skin Tone Blur Primer, which is very hydrating. It's not too matte or too dewy. It's like a very nice texture. So we're first starting off with foundation, and I do have the shade 420. And if you guys have watched my videos, you know how I feel about foundation. At first, I really didn't like it as much, but I have used it in the last few weeks, and it actually looks nice on the skin. So I don't know if my skin got better or if I'm using different products. I don't know what it is, but it's working. So 420 is a little bit too light for my skin. It's not my perfect match. I actually thought this time around she would come out with like the shade 425, which would be perfect for me, but 420 will have to do right now because 430 is a little bit too orange on my skin, and I just don't like to look orange, you know? So I'm blending this out really fast on the skin because it does dry really quickly. But this shade, I don't think it's too bad because I am a little bit lighter right now. It is winter time, so I really haven't been in the sun that much, and it blends really well in my skin. And I think the primer, the Farsali Skin Tone Blur Primer, it's a really good primer to use with it. I haven't picked up the Fenty one, which I should have, but you know, it's totally fine. But I just love how it looks on my skin. And y'all, don't forget your ears and your neck because that's how you get clocked out here, because my ears and my neck are like darker than my face and my chest, and it'd be exposing me out here. So I always make sure to go over my ears and bring it down to my neck. Now, to add some color to my face, I'm using a matchstick in the shade Espresso. It's a very deep, cool color on my skin, and I usually take it above my cheekbones right here because when you blend it out, it'll give you like that cut cheekbones that we're going for. So put some there and around my forehead. And it's best to blend this out with a brush, but I haven't found a brush that I really like to blend it out with, so I always go in with my sponge. And I'm just pouncing this into my skin, and y'all see how easy that blended. I know to some people it's a little bit dry, but for me, I just think it works on my skin, and I love the way it looks. So I'm just blending this out, and it's just bringing so much more color onto my face. Like, everything is just looking put together. So sometimes I don't mind going in with a lighter foundation, honestly, because I can balance it out with a contour stick or a bronzer or anything like that. Sometimes I do prefer a lighter foundation, but it's all about preference. So you guys, I'm not gonna lie, my skin is looking so good. Like, everything looks really nice and flawless and blended. I am so happy. So now moving on to the fun part, the concealer and the powder. I am so excited, y'all. Like, I can't even contain it. When I'm so excited for makeup, I smile a little bit too hard. Okay, now moving on to how much it costs. I'm looking at my receipt, and the concealer was $26, and $26 is a good price because most concealers in the high-end spectrum are usually like $29, $30. So I feel like $26 is a good price. And then the powder was $32, which is not bad at all because you do get a lot of product in here, so I think it's pretty fair. And that's why I love Fenty, because her prices are never like too much. They're like right in the middle, and that just, we'll have to say money, okay? We'll have to say money. So for the concealer, I did pick up the shade 410, and it was between this and 390, but I felt like 390 when I swatched it in the store. It was a little bit too golden and deep, and I love a very neutral concealer on me because my skin tone, I feel like, is a little bit more on the neutral side, and this is what it looks like. The packaging is so sleek and nice, and it's like a mini version of the foundation, which is kind of cute. I kind of like how they did that. But looking at the concealer in person, you guys know how the Sephora lights are in there. They look a little bit different. Looking at it in person, it looks a little bit too neutral, but we're just gonna have to make it work. All right, so this is what the wand looks like. It looks so different, but it does have a lot of product on it, and when I swatched it in the store, it was so creamy, and I was just like, wow, like, This is what I look for when it comes to concealer. I like it to be very creamy and blendable on the skin. So let me take some of this and put it right here. So this concealer is very creamy, of course. I'm sure y'all have heard it on the reviews that you've watched, but it's very creamy. And a lot of product is on this. Like, I haven't even dipped back into the concealer at all yet because there's a lot of product in here. And I'm just going to put some on my forehead. So looking at the shade, I actually think it's pretty good. It's not too light or too dark. It looks like most of my concealers that I do have in my collection. So what I'm doing is using my beauty blender, and I'm just going to blend it into the skin and see how it blends out. And it actually blended out really quickly. Like, it took no work at all. So far the concealer is blending out really nicely, and a lot of people are asking me to compare this concealer to other concealers out there, and it kind of feels like the Too Faced concealer a little bit on that side, but it's not as thick as a concealer. Comparing it to the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, I feel like the NARS one is slightly less hydrating, which you wouldn't think, but this one is a little bit more hydrating on the skin compared to the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. But nonetheless, y'all, like, it looks really good on the skin. And for those wondering, this does not feel anything like the foundation. There are two completely different textures or consistencies. They're completely different. The foundation is more on the matte side, where this is a little bit more creamier, a little bit more hydrated on the skin, and it doesn't emphasize like your dry patches or anything like that. So I am loving it so far. And this shade on me, y'all, like, this shade is perfect. Like, if you look at my chest, I think it complements my chest a lot. So I'm really happy about that. So this is the skin we're working with, and y'all, I know I keep talking about my skin, but I mean, the camera can tell y'all it looks really good. I don't know, I'm way too happy right now. I need to calm down. I'm moving on to the powder. I do have the Pro Filt'r Instant Retouch Setting Powder in the shade Honey. And for some reason, I don't know what it is, but a lot of people didn't try the shade Honey underneath the eyes. And that was the color I was most excited for, because I do love a nice yellow setting powder. It's my favorite thing in the whole entire world. But let me show y'all what this looks like. And the packaging, y'all, like, the packaging is so pretty and nice. Like, oh my goodness. Look at how nice this looks, y'all. Like, So on the box, it does say it has about, let's see, 0.98 Oz and 28 grams of product in there, which is a lot of product. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get through this at all for a long time. But let me open it up and see what the color looks like. Peel this little part off. And this shade actually looks perfect. I know Jackie, Auntie Jackie, was saying this looked a little bit too yellow for her, but for my skin tone, I think this would be perfect. So let me put some on the back of the cap. Ooh, I actually put out too much right now. So this is what the color looks like. I think it's absolutely beautiful, because in the store I tried out the shade Banana. That looked too ashy on my skin, whereas this one I feel like suits my skin just a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is blend out the creases underneath my eyes, and then we're going to bake on top. So I'm first pressing the powder into my skin, and this shade reminds me of my Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder. They're very similar, but one thing I do want to say is I feel like this powder is a little bit thicker than most powders, if that makes any sense, because once I put it on my skin, I can tell this is very matte right off the back. Like, you can tell it's a very matte powder, so you don't need a lot with this. A little bit should go a long way. Now, in terms of a translucent powder, I actually feel like this is an actual translucent powder, because once you blend it into the skin, it completely like melts into your skin. Like, look at this side right here. Y'all can't tell really where the powder is, because it just blended really nicely into the skin. So far, y'all, I'm loving the powder, because when it comes to powder, I am very picky. My under eyes kind of just tell me right away if it worked for my skin or not. And so far, it is looking flawless on my skin. So I know I'm looking a little bit crazy right now, but I'm going to bake for about 10 to 15 minutes. And I'll be back to show you guys what it looks like once I brush it off my skin. So I'll be back in a little bit. Now, time to brush this powder off my face. And I will say with this powder is a little bit more on the matte side. So if you do have dry skin, it may or may not work for you because I can tell right away it's a very matte powder. So keep that in mind. But let me just brush this off my skin and see what it looks like. So looking at my skin up close, you guys, it doesn't look dry. It doesn't look cakey on the skin because I was looking scared for a second. I'm not gonna lie. The powder, once I put it on my skin, I can tell it's like a very like heavy powder, but it literally blends into the skin like nothing once you brush it off your skin. So y'all, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all can tell how I feel about this product. So, but let me go ahead and add some bronzer, some blush, and highlight to my skin because I need a little bit more color right now. And I'll be back to do the wear test for you guys and let you guys know my final thoughts on these products. So it's currently 3:07 right now, and this is what my face looks like. Like the powder, the concealer, the contour, the foundation, everything is working so well together, y'all, and I couldn't be happier. And I do think I want to do like an 8-hour test, and it's currently 3:07, so that will put me at 11:07, which is a little bit too late for me, y'all. Like, I get so tired around 9 p.m. So I may come like a little bit earlier than that to show you guys how the concealer and powder is acting. But first impressions, everything looks so good on the skin and I couldn't be happier. So with that being said, I should be back in a couple hours. All right, y'all, so it's currently 9:37 right now and I have Indian food waiting for me downstairs, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up real quick. But obviously my face is a little bit dewy, but it's been about 6-7 hours now. I still think everything looks really good on the skin, but I know you guys are here for the concealer and the powder. And looking up close, I can get my mirror open, but looking up close, I do notice a little bit of creasing underneath the eyes. It's nothing major, of course, but it's just a little bit of creasing there. But if you want to try it out, you can definitely do that and see if it creases on you, because my under eyes has a little bit of wrinkles, if that's what you want to call it. So it always creases no matter what on me, but it doesn't look terrible at all. You have to be like really close to my face to even see the wrinkles underneath my eyes. But all in all, you guys, I'm so glad I picked up the concealer and the powder because they look so good on the skin, and Fenty always kills it when it comes to complexion. I feel like that's one thing they do a great job at, and I'm just so glad, and I can't wait to see all the stuff they bring out, like brows and bronzers and blushes. Like, I'm just so here for it. So with that being said, your girl is starving. I'm gonna go downstairs and eat some food. I love you guys so much. If it's like, subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.